Howdy. New project underway, new cosplay project. This is going to be a Deadpool build, put together, whatever. This is not going to be me making the entire thing from scratch. I have bought a few items, but I am going to be making a few things such as the swords and the holster thing that they go in, the guns and the holsters for those, some pouches for the belt, possibly a logo for the belt as well, and a small sort of combat knife and a little pouch thing holster that goes into too. So if you'd like to see me make all that or want to know how I made it, click ahead to this time. Otherwise, I'll show you the suit. Here we go. Okay, it's in this box and I'm kind of excited. Okay, let me just show you. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Okay, almost lost my composure there. Oh, but seriously, look at that. God, it looks so freaking good. Now, first thing some people are probably going to notice is that this fabric does not look like this fabric. That is because I bought this mask and this suit separately. They do not go with one another, but it is a Deadpool mask and a Deadpool suit. They are just from different people that I bought them off of. So I'll explain why in a second, and I'll tell you who they're from, but let me put it on so you can get a full view of this. So this is what the suit looks like when it's on me. No accessories, no guns, no swords or anything like that. Literally just the suit, a pair of gloves and the mask. And I gotta say, I'm already pretty happy with how it looks. I think this looks the part and fits me pretty well. Now, as I mentioned before, the suit and the mask were bought separately. The suit was originally from Amazon, and for the life of me, I cannot find the information of the seller I got it from. I'm really sorry. I bought this about 3 years ago and literally cannot find it anywhere. All I remember is that I got it off Amazon, and I think the cost was around about £120 or so. This also came with its own mask and a pair of boots and some leg covers, which I didn't show you because the mask doesn't fit, and the boots don't fit either. The leg covers I will wear when I've got this all on though, because I'm going to put it over the top of my own boots, and obviously I'll use the other mask that I just showed you. So the mask I bought off Etsy from a seller called Tommy's Props, and this guy has done a really awesome job of making this mask. The fabric feels awesome, and the eyes are also removable. They just have little magnets on the back so they can clip right onto the mask. He also sells you alternate styles of eyes, so I got some X ones as well. And some happy ones as well. Okay, now for how I made the sword. Okay, so the blade for this was 3D printed into 3 separate pieces. This was something I modelled and modified myself. I also made it so you could put a steel rod through the middle of it, just to help hold it together and give it a bit more weight. This is the piece that goes in between the blade and the handle, sort of the guard piece, and this is the handle. I'm going to obviously paint all this a different colour soon, so it'll look the part. Also 3D printed this little logo, just to add a little bit of detail, and it's sliced into 2 pieces to make it easy to paint. And this is what the blade part looks like with the steel rod through it, and you can already see it kinda starting to take shape, but there's obviously still a lot of work to do. So to glue it together I used this hard plastic adhesive, which I used for a lot of 3D prints, put it all in between the join lines, and then left it standing upright in this big clamp. After the glue had finished curing, I got this wood filler and just filled in any join lines, and then got some fine grit sandpaper and just sanded it all down when that was dry. After that was done, I got this silver colour paint and went all up and down the blade part, and also painted the handle this lovely red colour too. Okay, bit of a disclaimer. I've basically just showed you that I have glued these pieces together, filled them, sanded them, and then basically painted them straight afterwards, which I have. I realise you would not do it this way if you were trying to get like a super awesome movie quality finish to some 3D printed props. If you really want to learn how to do that stuff properly, there are 1,000 tutorials out there. I'm just trying to do this quickly because I have an event coming up, and not that that's an excuse to do a bad job or anything, but I don't really mind if they don't look like super amazing movie quality finish. I just need a pair of swords for some accessories, so yes, onwards. So as you can see, we're getting pretty close. All I needed to do for the next piece was just slide it over the metal rod, and then it just clips right onto the blade. Okay, moving on, we have the handle. Now I did not want this to just be a red handle, so if we take a look at the other sword that I've made, we can see that this is obviously 2 colours, red and black, but the black piece is actually a cover that goes over the red handle. I made this out of foam, and I will show you how to do this now. So I started by measuring the handle, which happened to be 20 centimeters long. I then got some 2mm EVA craft foam that I had lying around, and cut out a rectangle shape 20 centimeters long and 11 centimeters across. I wrapped this around the handle just to make sure I got the dimensions right, and it looks to be a pretty good fit. I then measured out and drew on half, quarter and 3/4 lines. These lines are going to act as a guide for this little diamond shape that I cut out. I drew around this on the 1/4 and 3/4 lines until it looked like this, and then just freehand cut out all the holes with a craft knife. After this was done, I got this contact adhesive and went up and down both sides of the foam and then waited for this to dry. Okay, almost done. Now, I'm sorry if this is starting to become a little bit boring for some people. I am trying to keep this fairly quick so that you can just sort of watch it and understand how I've done things. Hopefully I'm explaining this fairly well. As you can see here, once the contact adhesive dried, all I did was stick these sides together, trying to be as careful as possible to get the lines neat. Then I just gave this entire thing a coat of black spray paint and put it over the handle, and for one final finishing touch, as I mentioned earlier, I made a small logo for this which I painted red and black respectively, glued this together and then glued it onto the end of the handle. This way it just gives it a little bit of detail and covers up the hole where the metal rod goes through the sword. All I did from here was glue the handles on, and that completes my Deadpool swords. Okay, with the swords complete, I now need to make some kind of holster or sheath for the swords to go in. This is the basic shape that I started by cutting out, and then I put my sword across it and drew out in pencil some guidelines just so I knew how big to cut the other pieces that would hold the sword in place. For this I used 10mm thick floor mat foam and put the template that I'd already made over the top of it just as a guide to get the right size and shape for the pieces that would eventually thicken out the holster. This is what it ended up looking like, and I put the sword through just for a final fit, decided that looked pretty good, and then moved on to making the next pieces of the foam. Now I ended up cutting out 3 layers of 10mm EVA foam for one sword and another 3 for the next one, which ended up making this like super thick, but that's my own fault for making the sword so big. But a little bit of a lesson learned there if you're going to try this for yourself. Just bear in mind how big you're making your props, because you don't want things to be too bulky or heavy. Now to hold this together I was originally going to use this contact adhesive, but decided against that and went with hot glue instead. This is what I used to glue all the pieces together, as well as the strap you can see that runs across it, and this just has some buckles on either end so I can clip it together and put it on myself no problem. Okay, quick reveal of me wearing this with the swords on the back. All I need to do for this holster piece is paint it black, but that's just going to be a quick spritz with the spray can, and obviously the belt and other accessories I will make soon. Hello, okay, if you made it this far, thank you very much, it's much appreciated. I flashed a little thing at the beginning of this video to say, you know, I'm only going to do the swords and the holster thing that they go in, just because I didn't have a lot of time. That is very true. I'm sorry if you wanted to see a lot more stuff. There will be other videos, hopefully soon, within about a week or so, of me making the guns and the other accessories that I said as well at the start of this video. But yeah, just because I'm on a bit of a crunch, and I obviously have work when I'm not doing this kind of stuff, I don't have a lot of time, and I didn't anticipate how long this video would end up being or how much editing I'd have to do for it. So yes, I hope you sort of understand, but I'm sorry if that annoys anybody. Yeah, thanks for watching, have a great one.